Hi, my name is Sarang Panchal. I've got some really exciting news for you. After spending more than 2 decades in the market research industry in India, and after having worked for companies like P&G, Dun& Bradstreet, VNU, the Nielsen Company, where I last was the managing director for the Asia Pacific Customer Research Division, I've decided to float a company with two other partners which will essentially cater to the digital needs of India. So for the first time, we're going to have a research agency specializing in digital research, and I'm really excited to do this. I'm excited because India is going digital, online is important, Catty, Cappy, Cavi are all household names. Data collection is obviously totally digital. But the really exciting part is we've got some really exciting partners. And let me talk to you a little bit about some of them. One of my favorites is a company called Vision Critical. And this company runs online community panels. Now, what's an online community panel? It's a collection of a company's consumers who agree to participate in a panel. But it's not a normal panel where people get paid and stuff like that. It's a panel people engage in and become a part of because they're actually involved with the company, they're involved with the products, and they're doing it because they want to share what they like about the company and the company's products and what they don't like. So it's something they do from the heart, and that's what actually separates an online community panel from a normal online panel or an access panel. The other really interesting part about this service is that a client actually develops a very close relationship with its customers and consumers and begins to understand them well. Alright? And that's really interesting. In fact, I'm just back from a Vision Critical meeting abroad where I met clients in the technology space, in the telecom space, in the financial services space, from media, from packaged goods. And they're all people who've been running community panels for 4 years, and they're all extremely ecstatic about it. They were talking about what they're getting out of it. It's almost a 360 view. There are people who are benefiting in the communication area, in the product area, from a loyalty perspective. And it's almost as though you have an advisory board of consumers who are helping you day in and day out make better quality products and services. So this is something which is going to revolutionize market research in India and actually help our clients maintain even closer understanding and relationships with their customers. So what's my vision? What's my future for MRSS India? I want to be, in 5 years' time, regarded as the absolutely favorite company in digital research. Alright? I want to be the partner of choice. And we're going to have a slew of products. Some are going to look at mobile, some are going to look at other technologies, some are going to look at totally different verticals. We're going to focus on virtually all verticals, but obviously on the growing ones like media and business to business, agriculture, packaged goods, telecom, IT, so on and so forth. So technologies is in the area of eye tracking. And eye tracking has been in the market for some time. We ourselves had a slew of services. But the one we have right now is dynamic. So I don't have to go to a big machine and start having consumers look into that machine. I just have these glasses, just put them on, a quick calibration of the eyes, and as a consumer, if I'm walking through the aisle of a retail mall, I know exactly what I'm looking at as a housewife. I know exactly what is making a difference to my purchase decision making. Okay? And this is really cool because it's got so many applications. For instance, in a TV show, you might have a product of a famous multinational company being placed. We don't know whether it's actually being seen. But wearing these glasses, when someone is watching that TV show, you can actually check from the gaze plot and the heat map whether they're actually seeing the product and how often. So this is another huge product, And like I said, I think retail is the most obvious application, but I see applications in usability testing, I see applications in media, I see applications in product placement, I see applications in a gallery, in the branch of a bank. I mean, virtually any place can use this technology. And the really cool part about it is it's mobile, it's dynamic, and you get your outputs the next day. So it's really quick as well. Okay, the Indian retail landscape is really interesting. I know there's a lot which depends on real estate and infrastructure and the whole issue of pricing. But I think the really important part is that both conventional trade and modern trade will continue to coexist for some time, in my view. Because I'm not going to give up as a consumer, especially for my food products, which account for 50-60% of my purchases in any case. I'm not going to give up on buying them on a regular basis from my local store, my Banya or my general store or whatever. So what's going to happen is you're going to see a mix of both, but the challenges are totally different. Alright? And obviously a lot of attention is being paid to modern format, and it's really important because the amount of money one lands up spending in a mall, even though it's not as often as in a Kirana store, is significant. The other thing we've learned is 70% of decisions as to which product and which brand to buy are actually made in store, which is quite different from conventional trade, because there you made up your mind, you've got the force of habit which says no, just give me that soap or this shampoo or this tea bag or whatever. But when you've got products on display, the entire mechanics, the entire forces which actually play a role change totally. To top it all, you've got someone walking through the aisle and you've got ads on the side, you've got discount promos, you've got interactive stuff happening with someone trying to sell something. So it is so dynamic and so interesting that in my view, if someone gets that bit right, okay, they're going to win and they're going to be ahead of the race compared to their competitors. So the way I see it, while modern format is probably 8-9% of business right now, it will grow significantly, and as hypermarkets grow, as people get used to the concept of what they need to buy from a hypermarket once in a month or once in 2 weeks, you will see significant involvement, and it's already there. I mean, it's there in cities like Gurgaon, which is full of malls. It's there in other cities like Mumbai as well, where it's obviously not just shopping, but it's an experience for the day. You've got nothing to do, take your kids there. It's a family outing, everyone's going to be happy. So I think what needs to be observed is clients need to be really sure whether they are winning in both those locales, those situations, those scenarios. So in conventional trade, what are they doing? Are all their below the line activities actually happening as planned? Are they doing the right things, making the right decisions? Similarly, in modern trade, are their products being seen? Are people actually doing the right thing in terms of aisle management, category management, etc., etc.? So there's a lot of stuff to be discussed and a lot of stuff to be actually done there, because it's not about just sending your product and placing all your SKUs in the best way. There's much more to be done. So we are in the process of developing a whole lot of stuff, including eye tracking, of course, which will help our clients do a better job of promoting their products in both conventional and modern trade. Internationally, what is happening is research is quite different, and it's actually been quite different for a number of years, for the simple reason that the entire online business and the online penetration, whether it's PCs and Macs or whether it's telecom or telephones, started much earlier. So for instance, even as early as 10 years ago, a lot of research in, let's say, the Pacific was happening totally online, alright? Especially if you go to a bank. Now, what has happened is clients have just got used to a different level of interaction, a different speed of data delivery, and they've also got used to the fact that there are newer and newer methods and techniques available, whether it's in the area of understanding how consumers and customers make decisions, or whether it's in the area of seeing how they visually look at something or process something. So you've got things like eye tracking and all the neuro stuff and the NLP stuff, which is getting very, very popular. But I think the bedrock is that most research is conducted online. And with the advent of smartphones in India, and they're growing really, really rapidly, what is happening is the entire online game is changing. For instance, a lot of the work we do even in India, which is, let's say, based on an access panel online, or which is based on an insights community online, people access on the phone because they don't have to be in front of a computer. You can be in a Wi-Fi area, or you may have 3G, etc. And in fact, talking about online, not only is the consumer changing, or the customer, but even marketers are realizing that they've got to cater to conventional trade, they've got to cater to modern trade, and they've got to make sure that their product is available online. Because you've got to get all your bases covered. You have no idea where your next customer is going to come from, and you don't want to lose him or her just because there is no online presence. Okay? Especially if you're looking at something in the area of apparel. People are more than happy to buy it online as long as it's decently priced and the sizes fit, etc. So overnight, they made a huge dent in the apparel market, which was a very, very conventional market. So what I'm trying to say is, online is something which not only matters to consumers and customers and market researchers, but for marketers it is huge. And I think people are realizing that, and we have people who have separate divisions within companies focusing on online. We've got special departments focusing on social media and stuff like that. And I think it's either reaping dividends or paying dividends immediately, or it will reap dividends in a few years when you've got everything set up. Now, the other really, really important thing which I think we need to talk about is the fact that it is very easy in today's world to get a new customer, because you have attractive communication or merchandising or interesting promos or whatever. But trying to keep that customer is really the difficult part. So I'm really talking about loyalty. And how do you gain loyalty? How do you increase loyalty? How do you keep people loyal? By only monitoring them and being engaged with them. So I'm coming back to our inside communities. What we've seen is some of our more successful clients have made sure that they've used inside communities very wisely to build a relationship with clients, so that they can actually understand how they think, how they behave, what excites them, what is putting off to them. So we may just have a small sample of a couple of thousand people for a client, but the fact that we understand the consumer, we're in close contact with them, making every decision after checking with them, makes a huge difference to the quality of marketing inputs which go into the market. And this never happened earlier, because one, research was expensive, number two, it took time for data delivery. Here, if I've got my inside community ready and loaded, I'm getting responses in 24 hours, 48 hours. I can turn around research projects very, very quickly. So to maintain consumer loyalty and to understand what exactly excites consumers and what is not good with consumers, one needs to be in close contact with them. So it's not enough to do an annual customer satisfaction track. Those are old methods. You've got to be on a daily basis engaging with them.
India has traditionally been quite a laggard in adopting to technologies, which is quite strange, considering that India is supposed to be one of the tech giants. But as far as market research goes, it's still very snobbish and not so sophisticated as rest of the markets are. That's the difference we are trying to do. MRSSindia.com is a digital market research agency that is joining hands with partners globally and bringing technologies to clients in India so that it can provide solutions which are having a technology edge to the solution, to the requirements that the clients have. Traditionally, a lot of brands had to employ large field forces and have huge distribution networks to ensure that the product is available to the consumers. But today it's a completely different ballgame. Anybody who is connected to the internet, he could be in any part of the world and he has access to the products. The entire delivery mechanism or the logistics of product fulfillment has changed in the past 4 or 5 years. We are seeing a lot of online e-commerce companies spending in India. We see a lot of advertisements. But what is not being analyzed is how is the online consumer thinking differently. Mystery shopping, another activity in which a lot of brands have spent a lot of money in the past few years we have seen, and we have been regularly partnering with a number of companies for their mystery shopping campaigns across various parts of the country. In the entire online or retail e-commerce space, it takes a very different venture. Traditionally, we used to have different scenarios where different types of shoppers would go and experience, and then we would take the feedback from them. Here, the shopper could be anywhere, and how he behaves based on the device he's using, based on the internet speed he's using, and what are the options he chooses, what are the windows that come to him in front of his screen. Again, all this is very difficult if you do not take the help of technology. And again, in this, we use a lot of eye tracking devices which are different from the eye tracking glasses you might be seeing here. They simply employ the webcams that are installed on any consumer's desktop device or his iPad, and we have a software that actually tracks what is the respondent going through. Similar tools and platforms help in designing the usability interfaces for a lot of companies. A lot of e-commerce companies may have the best product delivery systems, may have the best understanding of the consumer, but still if their interface is not user-friendly, is not customer-friendly, is not tested for different scenarios, again, it's a bottleneck or it's a failing point for them. So I think it's the same technology which we try to provide different clients with different objectives, maybe customer satisfaction, or maybe testing of the product fulfillment via mystery shopping, or maybe usability interface. In terms of the brand loyalty and the brand engagement, currently you see the customers and the consumers talk a lot between each other than they used to earlier. The whole concept of word of mouth is, which used to be a very small part of your marketing strategy, especially for FMCG companies, has taken a different meaning altogether because of the communities and the social media presence. A brand can suddenly get impacted massively, either in a positive way or a negative way, depending on any small event and how many people get involved in it. So a very, very old brand could suddenly, in a matter of few hours, get a lot of negative brand image. How do you manage that? How do you ensure that this brand of yours, which has been such a strong brand traditionally, translates the same values digitally? Today, there's no such distinction. It's all merged. Offline and online has just become a combination of the reality of today, and so your brand, which could be a very old brand of 25 years, when there was no digital, can suddenly have to face a lot of new challenges in this combined world. And I think that's where we come into the picture as a research company, as a insights company, and sit with clients and come up with research programs which help them ensure that the same brand values are translated to the new set of consumers. You look at obviously the social media, and you also look at influencers in a different way. Earlier, we always say in business or in management, the 80-20 rule applies. So even in customer satisfaction, and who are our important consumers? Does it apply again? Are we saying that 80% of the 20% of the consumers are more important than 80% of your consumers? How is it? Why is it important? Obviously, consumers of today in the social media space have different influences, different communities they follow. You look at something like a cloud score, and a cloud score of one consumer is different from a cloud score of another consumer. Now, this basic distinction and the ability to go to the right consumers itself provides a different design for your customer satisfaction studies.